So here we are again, and today what I thought I would do is make a little video for my dear friends Patty and Robert. Have a son, Alex, who is at college in Colorado, and Patty asked me to teach Alex to make a couple of simple recipes that he could prepare for his sweet mates at college, or maybe a date, something simple, something that he can throw together relatively easily. And so I thought I'd start with this recipe. This is a really easy, quick pasta recipe that I think Alex, this is for you, so pay attention. This is going to be real simple, okay? What I have is a pot of water getting ready to boil for our pasta. And then I have a large skillet that I'm heating up. These are the ingredients, okay? What we have is some Italian bacon or pancetta. If you don't have pancetta where you're at, you can use about a ½ pound of bacon and just chop it, okay? We've got some chopped garlic, some Parmesan cheese, we'll talk about that in a minute, and some frozen peas, and a pound of pasta. I'm going to assume that a nice Italian, Argentine, American boy like you has some olive oil in the pantry, and of course salt and pepper. So here we go. Water's about to boil, and I am just cutting up my onions. And you can slice the onions any way you like, but basically we'd like them to be kind of small, not too thick, and about that size, okay? So we are about ready to throw this all together, and you're going to be amazed at how quickly this all comes together. Okay, so here's our pancetta, and you can see it comes in a package already cubed up. Pancetta's in a big long roll, and that's how you would buy it at the grocery store, and then you could slice it and chop it and so on. This is kind of cool. I get this at Trader Joe's and it comes already chopped up. So what we're going to do is first of all brown our pancetta, and like I said, if you can't find pancetta, you can use bacon. I'm just going to help this along with just a smidgen of olive oil here. And what we want to do is just brown it a little bit. We want to render the fat just like you would if you were cooking bacon, and you can substitute bacon for the pancetta, although not the maple flavored bacon, because that's really not going to do anything for this dish. So try to stay away from that. Just plain old bacon that doesn't have that sweet flavor to it is actually what's going to work best, okay? Once that's done, you get your onions and add them in on top of the pancetta and let them saute. It's all going to turn out the same in the end, okay? So now what we want to do is add a generous amount of cracked pepper to our onions and pancetta and olive oil mixture. And I'm going to put all of the amounts of this recipe on the blog, Allie, so that you can see exactly how much. But it's to taste. I'm not going to add a lot of salt to this because the pancetta tends to be a little bit salty. We're going to be adding Parmesan cheese, which can also be salty. We'll add a little bit more at the end, but we don't want to make a salty dish. So our pancetta's browning nicely, our onions are sauteing, and in the meantime, we are going to take and cook our pasta, because that's going to take a few minutes. Don't forget to put salt in the water, Alex. I know you know this from watching your mother cook. You gotta have salt in your water when you cook pasta. A good, nice little handful, okay? Alright, so in this case I'm using ziti. You can use rigatoni, you can use just about any kind of pasta that you prefer. These work really well. Once you throw your pasta in your boiling water, give it a stir almost immediately because you don't want it to clump and turn into one big sticky clump, okay? Now I'm ready to add the frozen peas, and this is just a 1 pound bag of frozen peas, which I put in the microwave for a minute just to soften them up just a little bit. And I'm going to give those a stir. There we go. You're going to love this, Allie, I promise. I know you've had this here before when you've been home, so, but it's not a mystery. It's a very, very simple thing to prepare. Okay, we're going to give our pasta yet another stir. Alright. So, another part of this recipe is some grated Parmesan cheese. Now, you know when you come over here you see me grate a big wedge of cheese, and I usually do that instead, but because this was for you, I bought some ready grated Parmesan cheese, because this is probably what you're going to buy when you're at school. The only thing, Allie, you know that sprinkle cheese in the green can? No sprinkle cheese, okay? Please don't put sprinkled green cheese on anything that you cook, promise me. Alright, so, now here's where I want to show you about pasta water. Giving my onions and peas and pancetta a nice little stir, okay? And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take a measuring cup, and very carefully, don't burn yourself, steal about 3/4 of a cup of this nice starchy pasta water, and I'm going to add it to my sauce. We'll call it a sauce. Okay? And you can see that you've got this nice, kind of creamy, yummy thing going on here. And we are just about done. We're going to throw this all together. So we're going to get our pasta drained off, and then I'll show you how to assemble it. I think we're just about there. I decided to just snag just a little bit more of that pasta water before I drain it off. And this is all good and ready to go. So I am actually going to, I tasted it, and it's definitely got enough seasoning, so we are good. And we are going to now turn our pasta off. And I'm going to just take it over here to the sink and drain it in my little trusty handheld colander. Give myself a facial. And we're going to take it back over here. Alright, and we're just going to toss it in with all the other stuff. I'm going to give it a good toss. Your dad is very fond of this dish, Alex, as well. There we go. We are ready. I'm just going to grab my big heavy saucepan here. Actually, let me just take my dish, bring it over here, and see if we can do this without making a mess. Now we're going to take a nice generous handful, or 2 or 3 of the Parmesan cheese, and let that coat all the pasta very nicely. Okay. If you could smell this, Alex. Yum, 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 yum. And there we go. And then when we serve it, just in case you didn't get enough Parmesan, because you can't really ever have too much Parmesan, you give the little snow effect. You're familiar with snow in Colorado, aren't you, Alex? Here we go. All right, Allie. This one's for you. Pasta, piselli, and pancetta. So, we miss you. Can't wait for you to come home. And next time you come home, we're going to get together and you're going to cook with me. Okay? Here you go. Love you.